You've read the title. You know what this video is about. I'm not even going to give you any preface. We're just going to get right into it. Be prepared to get triggered. This episode of Bentley vs. the World is brought to you by...
Snow! Except for the yellow kind, it's way too spicy.
Let's talk about fast food restaurants. I have never eaten from a fast food restaurant a day in my life, which would obviously make me the perfect candidate to rank the top 5 fast food restaurants in America based off of Google. So let's get right on with the list. Starting at number 10, which, disclaimer, this is Google's rankings, not mine, we have Domino's. Now, who doesn't love Domino's? All right, everybody. If you're looking to feed a family of 4 on a budget, Domino's is never a bad option. But I mean, let's be real. Their marketing strategy is quantity, not quality. Me personally, I'm gonna give it a rating of 3 out of 5 mustaches. Moving on to number 9, we have Chipotle. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't even know what kind of food Chipotle serves, and I'm calling that bad marketing. Chipotle does not impress me at all. 1 out of 5 mustaches. Number 8, Subway. Not gonna lie, Subway's not that bad. You can put just about whatever you want on a sub, and the staff are usually pretty fast about it. And their advertising's pretty solid too. Even though I have actually been inside of a Subway before, even if I hadn't, I would still know exactly what they serve, which is a plus. 4 out of 5 mustaches. Number 7, Burger King. Burger King is actually a little bit of an interesting case because it has a lot of good stuff going for it, but it also has a lot of bad stuff going against it. But for now, let's start with some of the good stuff. If you're going to Burger King, you know exactly what to expect. You're gonna get a burger. Their lines are usually pretty fast, and the upkeep on their facilities is pretty solid. But as for some of the negative stuff, for one, it's really not all that unique and is quite similar to a lot of other restaurants that we'll get to later down the list. And also, I mean, come on, their logo is a burger. That's it. I feel like at least these days, people have plenty enough free time that they could have come up with a little bit better of an idea for a logo than a burger. But these are just the opinions of a socially awkward homeschool alumni who's afraid of women. So take this all with a grain of salt. 3 out of 5 mustaches. Number 6, Dunkin' Donuts. Where do I start? All right, look, let's straighten this out real quick. You got a restaurant named Dunkin' Donuts. Now, what do you think that means they serve? Donuts! But what exactly is Dunkin' Donuts famous for? Coffee! Look, you sell donuts, I get it, but like that's not your bit. Your bit is coffee, so why are you trying to market the donuts? You name the place Dunkin' Donuts, but you're putting a coffee cup on the emblem? You're setting yourself up for failure from day one. There's only one redeeming factor keeping me from giving Dunkin' Donuts 0 out of 5 mustaches. And that one redeeming factor is the letters on the doors. That's actually kind of cool. 2 out of 5 mustaches. 1 for each letter. Number 5, Wendy's. Once again, Wendy's is kind of generic and doesn't really stand out from the crowd, but they sell decent food at a decent price. Solid 3 out of 5 mustaches. Number 4, Taco Bell. It truly is a wonderful place, is it not? Here we have a place that gives no false expectations. You know exactly what you came there for, and you will get it in record time, at a record price. And not only that, their marketing strategy is flawless. All you need to hear is that sweet, sweet sound, and your mind is instantly transported to a taco utopia, only moments before your body is transported to the commode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what 5 out of 5 mustaches looks like. Number 3, Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry to say that here we have a very sad story of a fallen hero. A place where people used to laugh and children used to play. I was once in love with Chick-fil-A. But let me tell you something. One day, that all changed. Chick-fil-A used to be not only surviving, but thriving as the only nationwide fast food restaurant to not air a single commercial on live TV. But now, they've given up. They no longer hold that stance anymore because now they make cringy commercials. Yep, I said it. What you gonna do about it? 2 out of 5 mustaches. Number 2, Starbucks. You mean $5. Starbucks tries so hard to look like this bougie coffee shop chain when all of us know it's not a bit of that. Go to any locally owned coffee shop and you will instantly realize that spending 5 of your hard-earned dollars to get a coffee at Starbucks is highway robbery. That stuff ain't worth jack. Although the one upside to Starbucks, they might serve you junk, but they gonna serve it quick. 2 out of 5 mustaches. And so last and potentially least, at number 1, we have none other than McDonald's. The food's cooked in way too much oil, the fries are always gonna be soggy, and your fingers are gonna have grease on them for the next week. The only thing that matters in that abomination is the Ronald McDonald Playhouse. 1 out of 5 mustaches. Let's move on to the questions. Jameson Harrell asks, how do I get away with tax evasion? Easy. Stay broke and don't make any money. Next question. Benjamin Edgerton 4 asks, if Pinocchio said, my nose will grow, will it grow? Yes, but we're not exactly sure when. That statement doesn't really have a definitive time of when his nose is gonna grow. We just know that it is. So the next time he lies, it's gonna grow. So he's still telling the truth, but nothing's gonna happen to his nose because of what he said, because it's just not gonna happen right now. But if we alter your question just a little bit to say, what if he said, my nose will grow in the next 5 seconds? Well, now things are getting a little bit more interesting. Because if his nose grows within the next 5 seconds, well, then he just told the truth. And so then that can't be true because that wouldn't cause his nose to grow. So what's actually gonna happen is his nose won't grow in the next 5 seconds. But as soon as those 5 seconds are up, well, now he's lied and his nose is gonna grow on the 6th second. See what I mean? And to answer your follow-up question, should my comma go inside or outside the quotation marks? Technically outside, but you've got more grammatical issues in your question than just that. Your question was, and I quote, if Pinocchio said, my nose will grow, will it grow? Do you not see the conflict in tenses here? Said, will. Don't do it. Typado3 asks, why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways? Look, I've answered a question very similar to this on the channel before. I don't know why the people who created the English language did what they did. All I know is it gives me an excuse to vent about it. All right, so if you want to vent with me, by all means, let's get mad about it together. Brighton H22 asks, how many Oreos is it safe to eat in one day? And if I throw up, should I keep eating? I have no way to validate this, but I sense there's a little bit of personal experience in this question, and you already know the answer to it. If we're talking like once daily on the regular, then I'd say like 2, maybe 3. But if we're just talking about a one-time deal, bro, just send it. It's one day, who cares? As long as you can keep it down, go for it. But I am not a medical advisor. If your stomach doesn't like it, it's not my fault. W. Plyler 43 asks, how does the government power its incandescent light bulb sun? Their methods actually change quite often, and I don't really know enough to tell you what it's been powered by in the past, but what I can tell you is that not too long ago, there was the extinction of the dodo bird. The dodo bird didn't actually go extinct. At the time of their supposed extinction, the government was actually shipping them from planet Earth to the incandescent light bulb sun and putting them on dodo bird treadmills attached to alternators to power it. Caden Patterson asks, if you were somehow sent back in time to the between 1885 and 1980, how would you go about living? What would you do and where would you go? And there's a chance to come back, however, to whatever time you go back to. You have 5 years before returning back to your time. You don't know that info. And you can die in the past. Okay, so it's the year 1957. First thing I'm gonna do is have an absolute panic attack wondering how the heck I even got here. Secondly, I gotta figure out where in the world I'm gonna go and where in the world I'm gonna get a job. Quite honestly, there's a very real possibility that I don't even make it to this point and I just die of starvation anyway. But if I do make it this far, the third thing I'm gonna do is start stopping and strolling and rocking and rolling at the hop. If I can make it to that point, then it'll all be all right. If I come back in 5 years, I come back in 5 years. And if I die, well, then I guess I die. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of Bentley vs. the World. If you've been triggered by any of the things said in this video, well then I consider it a success. Always remember that broccoli is terrible, Jesus is better, and if you don't play disc golf, you're doing it wrong. If I leave speakers in an empty room, then who are they speaking to?